This program brought to you by CalPro Research.
Hi, this is Larry Hill with overview of the pDVM feedback and benchmarking for large animal specialty and teaching hospitals. That's certainly a mouthful, but this is a really important program, and it's a real privilege to be able to present to you our newest addition to the family of services from CalPro Research. Here's a picture of me just so you can associate the face to a voice. That's always helpful. So what we want to do today is explain some of the problems that we encountered when we were trying to create a large animal instrument and benchmarking program, and then share with you the breakthrough solution that we came up with recently, and then provide some details on our large animal RDVM benchmarking program. Our mission is to be the leading provider of client service metrics for veterinary practices. We've been around since 2002, and we're best known for the benchmarking and best practices that help a variety of industries, but our specialty really is, our focus is the veterinary specialty hospitals and colleges of veterinary medicine. That's where we have a lot of traction, and we love working with you. You're an awesome industry, and I just have the highest respect for all that you do. As you know, we have 3 primary programs: client feedback, referring veterinarian feedback, and the teamwork tune-up. We have the companion animal and large animal already established on the client feedback side. What's new is the large animal instrument for the referring veterinarian feedback program. We've done the companion animal for several years, and we've been asked to provide the large animal, but because of the issues that I'm going to tell you about, it was difficult to roll that out with confidence that we were actually adding value. And that's important to us, that we add value and have a solid solution. So we're pleased to announce that we have that now. The data gathered from over 23,000 referring veterinarians suggests that on average a 10% increase in your net promoter score provides a 4 to 6% increase in your market share. The accuracy of this finding has been validated over and over again, and it's a really solid finding. But it pertains specifically to companion animal, the hospitals for companion animal. We don't have this finding yet, or something like it, on the large animal side. So that's what I want to talk to you about today. As you know, the Net Promoter Score was pioneered by Fred Reichheld at Bain & Company. Many of you that are here watching this presentation have heard my presentation in the past about the origin of the Net Promoter Score, so I'm not going to get into that today. Just real briefly, Net Promoter Score is the promoters, passives, detractors, and we simply take the percent promoters minus the percent detractors, and we get our Net Promoter Score. Okay, so I'm not going to go over this right now. A lot of you already know this. The large animal program, as we investigated this, we really realized, wow, Net Promoter Score is going to have some real issues. And the reason why is that companion animal hospitals have much more traction in terms of the case counts. And so when we come along and we do a survey, and we do referring veterinarians or we do pet owners, there's so many cases and so many referring veterinarians that getting a really good sample size is not straightforward, but it's consistent. We're consistently able to get very good sample sizes of 100 or more. 50 is kind of our minimum, but we can regularly get over 100. We get 350. We get a lot of survey responses, and so we get this really solid data. And for example, if we get 100 surveys, we have a margin of error of plus or minus 10%, and that's something we can work with. Competitive options are well defined in the companion animal space because of the geographical location of the different hospitals. Competitive options are really clear. The companion animal pet owners themselves are willing to drive a certain radius to get the care that their pet needs, but it's very, very different than with large animal owners, trainers, handlers, and ranchers. We have very different dynamics depending on if it's equine or livestock. As we investigated this, the competitive options, the driving distances, really, really different dynamics going on. So to really have a solid large animal benchmarking program, the requirements for that are really clear. That program must accurately map the nuances from the hospital to hospital in the service offerings without causing confusion for the survey takers. For example, if the referring veterinarians are used to your hospital having a lameness and performance evaluation service, and we come along and we say, hey, tell us about the sports medicine service, it's very confusing, right? Or if you have an equine performance clinic and we ask about the lameness and orthopedic services, that can be kind of confusing too. So because there's a lot of different terminology that's used sort of interchangeably with large animal for livestock and equine, we realized that we cannot just come up with one solid list of benchmarked services. We have to be flexible with how we do that. So that created a real issue for us as a benchmarking company. Also, it must provide accurate metrics for hospitals that offer services for livestock only, equine only, or both livestock and equine. It must work in all three contexts. And it must provide a credible sample of at least 50 responses. So these challenges really large for us. We put a lot of work into it, talked to a lot of people. We want to thank you if you're one of those people that gave us input. Really appreciated all the support that we got researching this and trying to come up with a really good solution. So, we did research this back in 2014, 2015. We concluded that, we have a really solid companion animal benchmarking program, but using that approach was just not a viable option as a starting point for the large animal benchmarking solution. We needed to do something fundamentally different, and so we didn't give up. We just kind of pushed the pause button. So I'm happy to introduce the solution here. We're calling this the reputation rating. It's fundamentally different than the Net Promoter Score, but it provides us with all of the benefits of the Net Promoter Score and greater flexibility, greater simplicity, and much more puts us in the position to be able to get the sample sizes we need. So we're really excited about this reputation rating. It's an innovative approach. It's flexible, so you can have your exact department names, and we'll map those to benchmarking categories. So it's super flexible. We can even change the benchmarking categories on the fly on our end. So this allows us to really allow this program to kind of morph and mold over time. We're not locked into the same exact categories every time. It also allows for a smaller, more flexible survey. This means that if we need to, we can make phone surveys in addition to the web-based survey. Or even if we need to do fax-back type surveys, we can do that because the survey itself is a lot smaller. How did we do all this? Well, I'm glad you asked. We've been doing surveys since 2002, and we've learned a few things. There's definitely some patterns in the way survey responses come in. So by leveraging these patterns, we've created a unique benchmarking approach for small sample size populations that require unique labeling for similar services. This is very specific to the large animal, equine, and livestock kind of dynamic that we're dealing with here. For example, one of the patterns that we see has to do with highs, lows, and mids. People in general will take a survey if they have a very, very favorable opinion or a negative opinion. Quite often, that's that middle that's underrepresented. Now, to solve that, we use a very consistent sampling methodology, and so we know that the middle is usually or underrepresented, and so we can compensate for that by having a very consistent methodology, and over time the benchmarks become very reliable because we're using the same methodology over and over and over again. Now here's a screenshot of the companion animal online survey. You can see that we have a very rigid set of categories that we're asking the referring veterinarian to rate on a 0 to 10 scale. Behavior, diagnostic imaging, medical oncology, etc. Okay, we asked them to fill out this grid. It takes them a little while to fill this grid out, but this has been a very good approach for the companion animal referring veterinarians to give feedback to the specialty hospitals and colleges of veterinary medicine. And what that approach provides is a report that looks like this, where you have those solid categories, the way the answers came in, the tallies of detractors, passives, and promoters, and then the Net Promoter Score and the benchmarks. Okay, so that's tried and true, works great, very predictive of the future. Now, that's not going to work for large animal, though. So what we've done differently is we've changed the survey radically. You can see this is a lot simpler. We're only giving them one 0 through 10 rating scale, and that is how likely would they recommend your hospital overall. You can see the question at the top there. How likely would you recommend sample RDVM large animal hospital to other DVMs? Please provide a rating based on the quality of care and client service. Please disregard factors such as distance, etc. This is a tried and true approach to get that overall Net Promoter Score. So we'll still be able to give you a Net Promoter Score for the hospital overall. Now, the problem is when we get into the departmentals, we have smaller sample sizes. Quite often people will pick NA and things like that. So here what we're doing is we're saying hey, this is the list of services that this hospital provides. Which of their services have the best reputation? So they simply click the ones that they want to click to indicate the best reputation, and this list will look exactly like your service listing. And then we ask which of their services are in need of improvement, and they can click the ones that they feel need to improve. Very fast, easy in, easy out. We can do this over the phone even, okay? So it's a very simple survey to fill out. Then what we do is we take the tallies of all the departments that got got the ratings for best reputation and the tally of needs improvement, and then we run through a calculation that is very similar to the Net Promoter Score, where we're taking the total number of responses. We're looking for the promoters, the passives, and the detractors. Basically, the ones that give a best reputation, we're labeling as promoters. The ones that say a need improvement, we're taking those as detractors. And then if they didn't click either box, those are our passives. So we can do the same exact calculation for Net Promoter Score, which is great. So we have something very, very similar to the Net Promoter Score, but yet a very different way to gather the data. We get all the benefits without all the drawbacks. Isn't that fantastic? So you'll get a report that looks really similar to this for the large animal side, and then we'll show you how it compares to the benchmark. So you can see that we have a slightly smaller list here with the categories. We have the reputation rating, and then we have the benchmarks. The way that this clicks together is we take your departments and map those to the categories that we're using for benchmarking. So you can see here, if your department is called Farrier, and we go, wow, that's not something that we're benchmarking, we just put that into the not benchmarked category. But if you have something called sports medicine, and we're like, wow, you know, we don't see that very often, we're going to call that performance. All right. So this allows us to map the benchmarking to what we see more as a standardized approach across the industry, but yet allow you to have on the survey the exact services that you offer. So this is pretty neat. Also, we can change this mapping on the fly. So if we find out that the way we're mapping it is not quite working, we can simply update our reporting system and our benchmarking is completely recalculated. So we're calling this flex mapping. Really, really cool. Okay, that's pretty much the presentation. We just want to introduce you to this new innovative approach that we're taking. So I've shared with you the problems that we bumped into using the other approach, the companion animal approach, and trying to apply that to large animal. I've explained the problems there, shared with you the breakthrough solution that we've come up with, and provided you some details on the new program that we're offering. Next steps here, so we want to encourage you to review the sample online survey and the sample report. Contact us with any questions you have, and then let's set you up on our calendar. We have some blocks of time available, and we can figure out what blocks work best for you and get your study scheduled. All right. Well, that's it for me. Thanks for watching this presentation, and we wish you all the best and look forward to working with you on this large animal benchmarking solution. All right. Take care. Bye-bye.